fuck. I just got so scared this morning because I was outside and I went to smoke my cigarette and my ashtray has been shattered. It's like it got hit from a meteor from above or something, but all of the tobacco that was in it, all of the butts are missing. So there's no butts. The ashtray is completely cleaned and it's been shattered. So I'm just like so scattered because ultimately that means someone was on my porch last night. Eh, I've been dealing with a lot of harassment from the police because, well, I blew the whistle on them loudly. And in my neighborhood, they were doing so many dirty crimes, and they still are because ultimately they've got no ammo left to aim at the people with. Nobody here wants crime. Nobody here participates in crime. So it's very hard for them to fill their quota of prisoners. They have a certain amount of quota that is needed for them to keep their jobs. So we're dealing with a public that refuses to commit crimes in Canada right now, at the same time as we're dealing with police who are desperate for crimes and busted for crimes at the same time. Like the track record of the RCMP in Canada is so grotesque. They put out the whole entire missing and murdered Indigenous women thing. They were trafficking behind the covoid. First of all, they let the covoid happen. And behind the covoid, they decimated the homeless population in the country, rounding them up, shipping them out, narcanning them, removing them from public, killing them, cashing in on their cremations, dirty ass crimes, the likes of which you never saw before, and the likes of which we just shouldn't have to tolerate. But because I spoke out about them, it leaves me vulnerable to all sorts of, what do you call it, retaliation. And now I can't even smoke my cigarettes using my ashtray that my roommate gave me. And it's going to put me in more hot water with my roommate when I come clean about what happened to the ashtray. It didn't just get hit by a rock from the sky, I'm sure. Maybe I'll find a little meteorite out there. Maybe I was the target of space junk. But something got that ashtray last night, and there's no cigarette butts to be found anywhere. And there was at least a doity dozen cigarette butts in that ashtray when I went to bed. Holy fuck. I woke up and the neighborhood was definitely unsettled. I heard sirens, I heard dogs, I heard all sorts of weird shit. And I go out and find my ashtray has been decimated. Holy fuck. It's so scary. I'm someone, now don't laugh, but I was targeted by the Mental Health Act and I was stalked relentlessly by these people through 5 or 6 apartments and 5 or 6 jobs. They just kept showing up earlier everywhere I went, everywhere I tried to restabilize myself, and dragged me in for consultation, essentially, desiring to understand or manipulate, manhandle my psychological well-being, to be honest. And they kept me for 5 months in total, on a series of 12 occasions where they would just yank me out of my house, put me in a cage, sedate me, sometimes chain me up, sometimes put me in a straitjacket. And I didn't confront them. I didn't fight back. I just tried to move through it with as much common sense and dignity as I was allowed. But I don't like what happened outside my house last night. So I thought I'd come live and just settle my nerves. I like being live on YouTube because it's got a wider audience than Facebook. So I'm finally glad that my controls on my machine made that possible again. But I'll let you go for now. There's nothing for me to really say. At times of this, I've had lots of poetic insight to offer. But my major insight is that we shouldn't be sending weapons to war-torn regions. We should be filling them with blanks and allowing them to get their aggression out, but not take any targets. For me, there's no reason under God's green earth why we should be having these war-torn regions supplied with machete fire, AK-47 clips, Uzi fire, like the amount of dirty weapons that just came through Vernon. We're supposed to believe that they're just supposed to leave Canada on some vessel. And we're supposed to believe that the Baltimore, Maryland bridge annihilation wasn't a targeted assault. It's got the same exact MO as the trade tower assault. They faked some hit and then pulverized the entire steel mechanism. The framework was just made molten. So ultimately, that doesn't happen when a ship strikes a pillar. It's not something that would have happened to the bridge. They might have incurred some minor damage from a slow rolling ship hit like that. But again, like the way they just spin it and work tirelessly to open up the channel again, when that's not even the priority. The priority is the city of Baltimore, Maryland, and making sure they can stay connected with their family and friends in the local vicinity. It's about getting that bridgeway opened again and ultimately recognizing that steel and pavement, they're not embedded into the bottom of the water or anything. They're probably buoyant and could, with some persistence, be tugged to a place where we could scrap that amount of steel and put it to good work doing something for people who need that kind of income, because the scrap value on that kind of steel is quite significant. So we should be allocating that to people that it can help, to be honest. Anyway, just being targeted like that again this morning, potentially by teenagers in our area, potentially by cops. It's just too much. I can't live with the constant threat on me for years. It's so lonely. It's so debilitating. But there it is again, early this morning. My fucking backyard was targeted, and I can't see it being any natural phenomenon that would have caused the busting of that, the emptying and busting of that ashtray. It's a signature classic way they have of communicating with me that reminds me that they're somehow in control of my destiny. And it's not me. It's guys, it's time's up time. That's all it really is. It's time for you guys to understand that you're not in control of the show anymore. There's nobody that's even committing crimes. There's nobody that's having mental health flip outs. Anyone on drugs is simply dealing with the horse tranquilizer, trying to stay conscious in public. It's just such a terrifyingly disastrous, disoriented state for those individuals. And like I said, it's horse tranquilizers and the fentanyl that's causing them this amount of crisis more than anything. The drug itself, I doubt, is even that strong. But the one time I touched fentanyl, when it was laced on some marijuana lube, some oil, the, you leave your body through your cerebral cortex. Like it was like 15 hours of terrible, terrible near death experience. So why should we be sending warmongering people anything but blanks? Why should they be able to target innocents with sniper fire? It's just ridiculous. I hope you agree with me and that we can start moving forward on some of a more progressive interest. People always say Canada is a place where you can define what it means, but it's very clearly defined up here. We move by reason, we move with measure, we innovate on projects. Our public sector was designed to facilitate these projects. They have failed at that miserably. We have had made illegal ineptitude and ignorance. We made them illegal over 100 years ago to prevent reason-based decision making from falling to the wayside. And all we have is the lack of reason-based decision making here now. It's really tragic. Oh, that was so scary. Excuse me, I'm just writing a friend. I know it's hard to imagine living life more fully, each individual. That's what we're talking about eventually. And it's great if you can find a way as a community actor to empower your own community, to have more thriving event spaces, to take on more cultural experiences. But we're dealing with such a lull, we're dealing with such a mass mediated assault that it's hard to break the chains of repetitive labor, of repetitive mass consumption, of repetitive mediated entertainment. We can't even get AI functioning properly to the extent where we can upload our playlists, we can access content for free without ads or subscriptions. Unfortunately for artists, it's a new era, and you want us to keep paying for this music. So tour live, tour live. $40 a pop is the most you can charge. And you need to be strategic about that so you can make money off your concerts. I can't advocate for. Hi, by the way, thanks for listening to me live. I can't advocate for anybody to continuously expect to be paid for digital uploads. There's just too much wrong with the ad cycle the way it is. It's biased, it's centralized, it's what do you call it? Nefarious in that it's constantly ridiculing and putting down humanity. Oh my God, I can't believe my fucking balcony was targeted again last night. Stay the fuck off my porch. You're not invited here. We're not enemies. I did what I had to do at the time. There was crimes being committed by cops, and I wanted good people on that file. There's no need to not notify. Oof, this is just so creepy. I need to know who was on the property last night and how they got the fuck to my balcony without the security fucking system notifying my landlord. Anyway, I'll let you go for now. It is what it is. It's just a rant. But come on, we have to be moving forward at some point. And if we could just utilize my bank account and the money that's in it, the quadrillion dollars, and start allocating that digital currency in a legal account, it is digital currency. I'm sorry, but you can call it additional assets and liabilities all you want. But I have funds set up, funds for pollution control, funds for development initiative, funds for, rejigging the economy. And why wouldn't we want an economy where we could allocate an asset amount and then put that out on projects, train the people that we're working with to fulfill the mission of the project, and work on some of the files that have been neglected. Like there's so many people living in poverty and annually around the world. There's so many people estranged from their families. There's so many people wandering without even cell phone access or internet access. They're just getting these handouts, these food bags, these grab bags from organizations that are just profiting mercilessly off the traffic of this aid, when we could just elevate the thing to a higher level. And like, I have done my best to try and come at the live streams. There's just nothing happening right now. It's crickets out here. It's absolute treachery trying to creatively contribute in a way that makes sense when, first of all, the youth are so jaded and aggressive. It's real hard times for Ridgemont High these days, and I hope that going forward, I can keep up some momentum, get back to my creativity, and move forward. Move forward, ideally, in a renaissance fashion. Like, I just want to see this thing become a creative renaissance. And because I'm sitting with a quadrillion dollars in my bank account that was not supposed to be put in there in the first place, I just made it impossible for them to put that reset sheet anywhere. They took a gamble on me not seeing installation and the transfer of that reset sheet through my account. But what I did is grab it out of the back and make it a central item in my accounts list. So, oh, I'm so chilled to the core by what happened here this morning. I'll let you go. Thanks for listening.